which is another lesson because it's like I think God is telling me like, look, if you can be faithful to me in this season where you know that you're being overworked and underpaid,
Yeah.
it's gonna be it's gonna come to a point where you're not working at all and you're getting
Yes.
paid. You know.
That's kind of been like that same on that faithfulness piece, like understanding relationships, and like before any other relationship, that has to be the number one relationship. And Proverbs 3 says, "Never let loyalty and faithfulness leave you." And sometimes we automatically, when we read the Bible, we want to compare it to the relationships we're in and not the relationship that we have with God, you know? And so one thing for me this past year I've been learning is not, like how we were talking about somebody earlier today, like how they just jumped on that opportunity instead of like
Right.
taking it to God in prayer. Like I understand that's a dynamic of a relationship. Like even between a husband and wife, before I just make a big purchase, like let me sit down with you and talk about this
Yeah.
and sharpen. But in everything that we do, little things, it's like even understanding like God, I need you to the point though. I've been using these legs for the past 26 years. God, I need you when I walk out here today to make sure I'm going down the right path, that I'm stepping the right way, that I, you know, and in this world, you know, becoming more carnal and getting used to carnal things, the more knowledge that we get, sometimes we get comfortable. And I think that's the scary part of like success is like never forgetting God. You know, it's kind of like in the garden, Adam and Eve, like y'all had everything that y'all needed, but then you ate of this tree, and then all of a sudden you disconnected from your relationship with God, and then now you feel naked and ashamed. You know, so it's like when we're not loyal and we're not faithful, that's when we feel naked, and it's like, but who told you were naked? You know,
Right.
like why do you know this? Because you were not loyal, you disconnected from it, you start to lean to your own understanding. And so like this year I've learned that like even though this thing may sound really good, do not bite this fruit. Go to God first, pray first. What commandments has he already given you? And sometimes it's even that we don't always have to go and pray about something that God has already given us the knowledge about. You know,
Wow.
it's just staying plugged into his word and his commandment, and you know, just not jumping. You know, something can look so good and like, man, this is everything that I've been praying for, but the devil has been listening to those same prayers, and he's just
Wow.
trying to give you this illusion. So
Yeah, that's crazy. That makes me think of something, bro. One of my mentors told me about a prayer, and the prayer is I incorporate it into my daily prayer, and it's God lead me where I need to go and stop me where I need to be stopped. But I think that last part, being stopped, is sometimes hurtful to us, right? Because if we see gold, and we try to just run towards it, right? It may not be what we need, but just because it's so shiny, it's like, okay, I want that, I need that, and we just go out of the way, and then we might end up falling off the cliff,
mm,
right? But it's like, God, stop me when I need to be stopped. And so, it goes back to what you were saying, even with Adam, Adam and Eve. It's like they God led them to where they needed to go, but they didn't stop when they needed to be stopped.
yeah. And
You
I,
know.
bro, just thinking about today's culture, just like the grind culture, like separating that. You know, sometimes we can get so caught up in like, man, I need to work, I need to grind, I need to do this, you know. And so when certain things come in front of us, like you said, like not stopping just because you've programmed yourself, kind of back what we were saying earlier, you've programmed yourself with consuming so much self development content about like entrepreneurship and hustle that you think you already know the next step that you need to make. And so, like you're saying, just like, God, help me, show me when to stop, even when success it seems like it's right there in front of me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Really test your faithfulness.
bro,
Cause it's like, God, let me just go ahead and touch it.
yeah.
Touch it.
Even to think about the gospel started with Jesus being tempted by the devil. He's in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. And then the devil comes in and offers him all of the same things that we struggle with every day in our temptation. You know, offered him food, offered him wealth, you know, and even tried to get him to test God. You know, and sometimes we do that. It's like, man, this gotta be God. Let me just jump on it. You know,
Gotta be.
but again, just that whole factor, everything is about that relationship with him, and running it by him first, you know. But and like how we were all talking last night, man, about how relationships are part of everything. Like you cannot exclude any little niche of life that you want and not have like relationship be a part of it. Relationship is so valuable. It's so important, man. But again, that relationship with God first, that foundation of understanding that He is love and really knowing Him and being connected to Him. There's so many people that can really be healed if they understood that God is love. Like we want everything. We want the carnal version. We want what the world has learned and taught us instead of going directly to the source. Like we want like a quick fix. And I think about that just when talking with people in certain sessions, and nobody wants to talk about that spiritual foundation of like God. They just want to talk about like the relationship itself, the past relationship. Like we feel like if I can reflect enough and analyze that past relationship, like I won't make that same mistake again. Like no, you need God. You need to get your relationship with Him right first, and then it's supernatural. Like love is supernatural. It's a feeling, It's like if I say horse, there's a certain imagery that comes up in your head whenever I say horse. Mine might be a black horse, yours might have polka dots on it. But if I say love, what imagery comes up? So we'll want to judge love off of based off what we've already seen and what imagery we've had, but that's not. It's not that.
Yeah, and it's deeper. And I learned this year, bro. Love. I always believed it was a feeling, but in the word, it's what you do. It's an action. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not boast. It keeps no record of wrongs. Right? And it's like learning exactly what love is. Because I've been struggling with that. Because even in my relationship, it's like, yeah, I love my girlfriend, but why am I unfaithful? Like, can I love her and be unfaithful? But it's like, no, I'm not loving her. I'm not being patient. I'm not being kind. Like, back to that patient. It's like I can't say I'm in love with my girlfriend if I'm not being patient. That's not love.
And again, going back to like even in that scenario, where does that doctrine of love come from? Right. Is it the doctrine of like what I've seen in social media, or does it lead me back to God? And that's the thing I was talking to somebody else the other day about, the importance of like love. The greatest commandment God gave us is to love our neighbor as we love ourselves, but that is to ultimately lead us back to God. So do I love this person as if she's God's daughter, not just because she's fine and she's what I want and I lust after her. She has a certain thing that I like, but do I love her because I see God in her and I know this is God's daughter, So it's a difference between like that lustful term of love and like the true essence of love, like when it's God-based.
Did everybody want tomato, avocado, and bell pepper?
Tomato, avocado, bell pepper. Yeah.
Wait, you know your girlfriend. Would she want that?
Yeah, she wants that. That's our go-to. Tomato, avocado, bell pepper.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, shoot, that's love there. The fact that you know that you can respond. You've been paying attention.